Молчание ночи быстро течено, молчание ночи быстро течено.
Hello everyone, welcome to Renfro Lives, and today I'll be reviewing a film that many consider to be the best of all time, 1941's Citizen Kane, to see if the statement still holds true today. The movie stars Orson Welles, Joseph Cotten, Ruth Warwick, Dorothy Cummingore, and Everett Sloan. In the movie, a news reporter is tasked with uncovering the symbolism behind major publishing tycoon Charles Foster Kane's dying word, Rosebud. Along the way, he meets people who are close to Charles and is told his life story. Citizen Kane is considered the magnum opus of Orson Welles. After he made a name for himself on Broadway and in radio with Mercury Theatre, practically every Hollywood studio wanted to work with him. But he rejected them all because of his love for the theatre. That was until he got an offer so crazy even he couldn't refuse. It came from RKO Pictures, and he signed on August 21st, 1939. The contract stipulated that Welles would act in, direct, produce, and write 2 films for them. Orson's Mercury Theatre Group would get $100,000 for the first film by January 1st, 1940, plus 20% of the profits after RKO recouped $500,000. For the second film, they'd get $125,000 by January 1st, 1941, and 20% of those profits after that film recouped $500,000. What really made the deal seem too good to be true was the part of the contract that granted Orson complete artistic control over both films as long as RKO approved of both project stories and as long as both their budgets didn't exceed $500,000. RKO executives wouldn't be allowed to see any film footage until Orson chose to show it to them, and they couldn't cut anything out of either film without his approval. He was also allowed to develop the story, pick his own cast and crew, and have the right of the final cut, which meant that whatever version of the film got released to the public would be the one that he approved. Be that as it may, thanks to its troubled production stages, Citizen Kane went over budget, ultimately costing $839,727 and only making back $1.6 million at the box office, and the studio recorded a loss of $160,000. Critical reception, on the other hand, was generally positive. It wouldn't be until years later that Citizen Kane would be put on the pedestal that it's still on to this day. The film has 100% scores on both Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and was voted by the American Film Institute as the best American film of all time in both 1998 and 2007. After watching the film for myself, I don't understand why. Now don't get me wrong, Citizen Kane, I think, deserves to be considered a classic for 1941. The film was very influential and high quality in its makeup, acting, cinematography, and way of storytelling. All of that's great, but it's held back by a simplistic rise and fall story that's not excitingly executed. The newsreel they played near the start of the film made Charles Foster Kane's life seem way more exhilarating and eventful than what they ended up showing us. All the characters who were interviewed described Kane like he was the most fun to be around, but the scenes of his life that we got to see went by way too fast for that to stick with me. We got like a half hour of him being young and vibrant, and the rest is just him being a slightly grumpy old control freak. It was never boring, but it also never rose above a certain level of entertaining. I think it would have helped a lot if the characters did more than just stand around and talk all the time. If Citizen Kane had received all the immense praise in its own decade, I'd understand. But in my opinion, the decades that followed brought films that not only bettered all of Citizen Kane's influential qualities, but had a more enjoyably executed plot to go with it. Because at the end of the day, that's what Citizen Kane felt like to me. A lot of style over little substance. Which is why I give Citizen Kane a 6.9 out of 10. Anything higher just doesn't sit well with me. I don't think it's a generational thing, because some of my favorite films ever were made in the 30s and 40s. I guess the whole situation can be summed up by this short quote from Neil Minogue's review of Citizen Kane on Common Sense Media. Kids who watch this film can never know how revolutionary it was. And that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when I upload next. This has been Renfro Lives, and I'll see you all next time.